Pigskin Picks.
Thanks, Mitchell boys. I'm glad to be here.
Okay. You know the deal. Got to be right now is Marty Sheehan, still the only one with one loss. Cassandra and Clarendon last week, two losses.
He's texted me last night telling me all about it.
Was that?
He's texting me last night telling me all about it. One
all
loss.
Right, well, here we go. Here's your chance. So we're going to start off with Friday night. A team we don't talk about a lot until this year, and now we're talking about them a lot. It's Polytech versus the number 3 ranked in single A Seaford Blue Jays. Panthers, they're coming off a thrilling 30-26 win over First State Military Academy. But the Blue Jays, they're just hot this season. Seaford's averaging 39 points a game. Jazante Levon, he has established himself as one of the top running backs in Class A. This is home. Seaford, Indian River coming to town next week. Bill?
Yeah, I'm with you. 116 points so far for the season. Polytech had a good showing last week, but this is Seaford all day.
Ray Mitchell.
Yeah, I love what Seaford's doing down there with Avion Matthews, Kareem Bolden, Jazante Levin. Sorry, my apologies. They're killing it. They got tons of weapons, and yeah, I like Seaford here.
Let's move to Friday night at 7 o'clock. One of the oldest rivalries in the state. Wilmington Friends versus Tower Hill, Class AA game. The Quakers and the Hillers, they meet up again in a rivalry that dates back to 1924. Tower Hill actually leads this series 50-47 with 2 ties. The Quakers have started off 2020. They're hot this season. They're going to close the gap. Friends gets the win here. Bill.
Yeah. Just like you say, you never pick against Central in the Castle. I'm not going against the Tattersall family. Friends.
Right.
Yeah, I like Friends. Quarterback Robert Tattersall is 6'4", 210. He's just getting it done on the field. I like Friends.
We'll move to a downstate battle, Class A game between, it's Friday night, 7 o'clock in Greenwood, as Sussex Tech takes on Woodbridge. Sussex Tech started off 2022 relatively strong, battling in a loss to a Class A state champ Laurel, and then handing Delcastle a loss in week 1. Last week, it's a lopsided loss to Caravel. That was a setback. Woodbridge, the defending Class A, AA runner-up, they're just struggling to out of the gate this season. Woodbridge has won one of the tougher Class 2A schedules, and they're paying for it. They're paying for it early right now. The Blue Raiders traditionally, they always start off slow, and they finish strong. I think this is a turnaround week for both teams. Both teams want this to be their turnaround. Woodbridge gets the 180 degrees. I'm taking the Blue Raiders in this game.
Yeah, I'm going with Woodbridge. I don't see Dooley losing 3 in a row. And, I mean, they're 2 losses. You got a tough Cape Henlopen team that nobody saw coming this year. And then you got St. Mark's, who's, one of the top 2 teams in 2A. So I'm going Woodbridge here. I don't see 3 in a row.
Yeah, Sussex Tech, they got some tough running backs in Zion Roach and Jaron Sample. But like you said, Woodbridge, I agree. I don't see them losing 3 in a row, not under Coach Dooley. They got Tracy Johnson running back, so I think Woodbridge will get it done as well.
Move to a 7:30 kickoff on Friday night. It's Tatnall and St. Elizabeth. St. Elizabeth, are they on another collision course with Laurel for a state title game in Class A? Tatnall finished 6-4 last season, lost to St. Elizabeth in the semifinals. They have a brutal start to their schedule. Archmere, Wilmington Friends, now St. Andrews. And it doesn't get any easier for the Hornets, but I'm going to take the Vikings in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go Vikings here too. I mean, Quasim Benson's arguably one of the top running backs in the state. Doesn't get any love because he's down in the 1A group, but I was born and raised around St. Elizabeth. 3 of the best athletes I've ever seen come out of that school: Rich Conway, Andre Patton, Mike Sheehan in basketball, the brother of Marty Sheehan, and now Benson. Benson's right up there with the top athletes ever to come out of St. Elizabeth.
Hey, Mitchell.
Yeah, I agree with Quasim Benson. I think St. E's just going to keep on rolling. Let's go St. E's.
Yeah.
Through to Saturday morning, 11 o'clock, the upstart McKean Highlanders, they're traveling to Concord. What a turnaround from last year's 1-9 campaign for McKean. They start out 3-0 this season. They're on the road. It's a morning kickoff at Concord, but it's a short drive. Highlanders moved to 4-0 this week.
Yeah, Coach Carey's got them rolling. another team we didn't see coming strong out of the gate. That combination of McKeevis Rogers and Giovanni Ramirez, they've been unstoppable so far. They keep rolling.
Man, we're all on the same page here. I was about to say, he gets it done throwing, he gets it done running. I like McKean.
Yeah.
All right. Those were the easy picks. Now it's going to get a little tougher. Saturday, 12 o'clock, number 6 Louisiana versus number 5 St. George's. Here we go with the first of the 3 tough games to pick this week. How does this bye week early in the season affect Louisiana? First few weeks of the season, that's where coaches, they want to get their teams in sync. And now you throw in that bye week, it kind of throws Louisiana a little out of sync early on. St. George's, they took one on the chin against Dover, 31-8. Now that was at Dover. I think the Hawks are better than they showed last week when they played down in state capital. Louisiana's going to get their revenge on that loss last year up in Abyssinia. I'm going Louisiana in this game.
It's hard to pick against John Wilson. He always has the defense ready to go. I think he's going to come up with some schemes that are going to confuse that freshman quarterback at Sally's. But the one thing that Sally's always does, they have a top defense led by Trevor Way in the middle, captain of the defense. But I think the difference is something that we don't talk about down here in Smyrna. It's called a kicker. Apparently people kick field goals. It's insane, right? James Collins, they call him the weapon. I think he's going to be the difference. I think there's going to be some type of turnover or special teams play with James Collins. The kid's going to probably either hit the bridge with the kick or whatever, but I'm going with James Collins and Sally's on the win on this one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting how Sally's handles this bye week. They played Central tough. We were there. It was a great game, very defensive game. And like you said, last year, St. George's was a statement game for them. They went into Sally's territory and got the win. This year they got to try to do it at home. I think Sally's, given what we saw with them against Central, I think Sally's gets it done. Move with Sally's.
Okay, 7 o'clock. Actually, this game's been moved to 5, I understand, on Saturday. Number 1 Archer versus number 3 Howard in a AA class. In the 2020 state finals, Howard had a lopsided win over Archmere. But the Hawks returned the favor last season, beating Howard 42-8. Saturday night, I think these two teams settle in for just a classic rematch, like the rubber match. This is the game. Both offenses, they score in bunches, but their defenses have been equal to the task. I think defense is going to dictate this game, as good as these two offenses are. Could make it a much lower scoring game. I think a lot of people are going to anticipate. But Archmere is going to get the win here.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Howard early on, I think in August, with the scrimmage against Smyrna. And RJ Matthews, giant arm. Howard's got the size. They have the speed. They're definitely back from where they were last year with that down year. But a wise man once said, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And Chris Albero, he's the man, Archmere.
Yeah, two very athletic, very skilled quarterbacks, and Chris Albero for Archmere and RJ Matthews for Howard. Was it Archmere has a 15-game winning streak now, and the last team to beat him was Howard in the 2020 state championship. Ooh. I think it's going to come down to whose defense steps up for 4 quarters, and I'm going to go Archmere.
All right, in our game of the week downstate, it's Friday night kickoff, 7 o'clock. Number 4 Dover at number 7 Cape and Lopin. This is an old Henlopen North game. It now moved to a Class AAA District 2 contest. While the Vikings have a rough stretch over the years against Dover, Dover has been a team they have competed with over this state. They've won a few games in the last 5 years. Over the last 10 years, Cape has actually won 6 of those 10 games. Cape and Lopin, they're coming off a dominating win over Woodbridge, a dominating win over William Penn, while the Senators have been equally impressive, beating Hodgson and St. George's. They both have weapons. Both have plenty of weapons. This game is going to come down to defense. My big concern for Cape is 7 two-way starters. I think Dover's only starting 2 guys 2 ways.
Yep. But
Cape's hot. They're 2-0. It's going to be a cool game with the breeze coming off the bay at Cape and Lopin down by the beach. That home crowd's going to pack the stands. I'm giving Cape a slim advantage, maybe a field goal because they have a kicker of their own. Maybe it's going to be an extra point. This game might go into overtime. I'm taking the Vikings.
I'm with you. I'm actually going to go Cape on this one. I mean, it's hard to go against Chip Knapp in that offense. The speed between Parker, Kilby, and the quarterback, his name is losing me right now. But Marky James, man, what he's doing, he was, like I said, Sally's got a tough defense, and he was running all over the place. Him and that crowd, I learned last year, Cape Henlopen crowd don't care what their record is. They're coming out. They're going to be there, and they're going to be loud.
It's a party.
Yeah,
it's a party at the beach.
I'm going Cape upset on this one.
Right.
Yeah, so Senators, they got two speedsters in Jaquan Kilby and John Parker, plus Asim Cosme. They're going to come at Cape with a bunch of weapons. They're going to try to put points on the board. And then Cape has Markai James, 612 all-purpose yards in the first 3 games. It's awesome. Dover's going to have to find a way to stop him. Like you said, Cape, they don't care what their record is. Luckily, it's good this year for them, so even louder. But I've been high on Dover since week 0. I'm going to go Dover.
Yeah, he is. Twitter, he has talked about that Dover offense. He is 3-0 or 2-0 with Dover right now. So he's been hot. He says the Dover offense gets it done. Okay, so we're going to give you, Twitter, a bonus pick because we didn't put Smyrna on the schedule for this week, but you know those guys, and they have a big game coming against Cesar Rodney. What do you have to say about your Smyrna Eagles coming off a tough loss, a touchdown pass late?
Last year they started off against Bergen and went right to Middletown. This year they start with Arundel, go right to Middletown. Now, Arundel's not on the Bergen level, but Arundel's defense is extremely improved from last year. I think Smyrna put up 56 on them last year with ease. This year it was a tough 14 that didn't come until late in the game. Smyrna's defense is their leader this year. Normally it's been the Wayne Knight show or the Cam Ed show or the Aiden Sanchez show. This year it's the defense. That line of Chandler, West, Charles Scar, Caleb Lane, they took it to Middletown's offensive line. They didn't have any answers. I got to go. I mean, it's going to be. I think it's going to be a good game for Brian Wright at quarterback to kind of ease in. His second varsity start is against Middletown at Middletown in a hostile environment. That's tough for a kid. Cesar Rodney, I think, is going to be a good, nice test for him to be able to settle in, kind of get a rhythm going, and then get that backfield of Holman and Knight going.
We're gonna give Twitter Phil a little bonus talk about Smyrna. We don't pick against it. We don't know. We're not gonna pick that game. Of course, for Trey, it's always a tough pick being a Cesar Rodney guy and a current coach and teacher there. So we're gonna give Phil a free talk on. A little shout out to the Smyrna guys.
And you know what? I'm going to be positive. We're going to end this on a positive note. I'm even going to say something positive about that team up north in blue.
Okay.
There's a young man on their offensive line, Stevie Ogden. Doesn't get a lot of credit. Didn't make the those lists that come out in the pre-year. He played 3 different positions on the line last week. Wherever Smyrna was taking advantage, they moved him to that spot. He played center, he played guard, he played tackle. I just wanted to give a shout out to that kid. He played a great game, moved all around. You can tell he's really coachable and he really needs to get the credit that he deserves.
When Twitter Phil has a compliment about the Blue Hearts, that's coming from the heart. So
It hurt, but I felt he needed to do it. He needed that.
I want to thank Twitter Phil. Marty Sheehan's the guy to beat with 1 loss. This week, a lot of good games. I think the big one, I think the most exciting is going to be the Dover Cape Henlopen. And when I was talking to both coaches, we keep going, Dover's good, but they got a test this week against Hodgson, they pass it. They got a test this week against St. George's, they pass it. And here we are saying it again. Dover's got a test against Cape. And here Cape having a great season, and we're doing the same thing with them. We're not. And I asked Coach Frederick, the question mark next to Cape that everybody's giving them, how long does that go on? And both coaches said AAA is the real deal, and you're going to get tested every week.
Yeah, it's fun seeing what Frederick's doing down there. There's not a person outside of Cape that saw this coming.
Right.
And that first game against Sally's, they were a kickoff return for a touchdown away from really
for the half.
Sally's was able to push the ball late with Andrew Ransom running it. I think that line, that big Sally's line that they always have, just kind of wore that Cape team down. Like you said, it's the first game of the season. They got a lot of 2-way players, Shape coming in. I think it's different this week. This is definitely a different Cape team.
And same thing with Dover. I mean, they got track state champions
Yeah.
Running on that turf. So,
Yeah. Looks like the old red and white teams.
There you go. There you go. Now they're, yeah, exactly. I hear what you're saying. So for Trey Mitchell, Twitter Phil, I'm Benny Mitchell. Check out our picks, see where we're at. Then Twitter Phil catch Marty Sheehan. He has to go undefeated to pass him. So one loss is on the table, folks. See you at kickoff this week.